betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion with the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA and college basketball to NHL and UFC. BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source for every three-pointer to hat trick. BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Fucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, running like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
All right.
Shoulder injury, he might be done. Is there a chance the Saints now look to move up in the draft to kind of get a younger guy who kind of fit their cap space as well? Do you think that's a possibility, or do you think they're probably going to stay at 9 or even possibly get in on the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes?
All right, we'll hit the Rodgers one first. I would imagine if you're the Saints, first of all, this hurts them cap-wise, if only because it's $40 million allocated to a guy who may not end up playing for you, right? Like, there is a possibility that Derek Carr does not play this season. That is real. That is real. He may have surgery. He has a decision to make. That is all real.
What happened?
Yeah, wait, how long have we known, Rap?
Okay. This has been just being totally honest, this has been a difficult one for me to figure out. Like, I know the status of his shoulder now. He is currently deciding, seeking medical opinions, seeing if he needs to have surgery. I've heard varying views, reports, facts, whatever you want to call it, about when this actually happened. Was it something that he had been dealing with that worsened? Was it something that he hurt when he broke his left hand late in the season, whenever that was, and just still is bothering him? Is it just wear and tear and just can't go forward? Like, just to be totally honest, like, there are a lot of questions that I don't really have right now. And I think the Saints, I believe, knew, but a lot of their players did not know. And so when this news happened, like, I think for a lot of people who either are with the Saints or are closest, we're kind of like, hold on, what? Like, wait, what? Like, that's how this news felt. And so, like, you talk about the impact on the draft, like, pretty real. Like, rarely do you get an injury like this that really does dramatically impact the draft. But if you're the Saints, like, if you were debating, do we take this guy at 9 or take him in the second round, like, might this make you move it forward? I think possibly it could.
All right, shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all for being in the live, man. Welcome. We're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. Shout out to the mighty Who That Nation. Appreciate y'all for this Monday stream. A lot of popping stuff going on. And as you just heard from one of the top insiders in the NFL, Mr. Ian Rappaport, talked about some of them answers. He said, and we suspected as much, and Is it any? That's why I've been pivoting to getting Mickey Loomis off this team as a general manager. That made no sense. You're gonna pay this guy. This guy's not gonna throw one ball for you. You gave him all this money. It's absolutely insane to me that this actually went on. It's a laughingstock. The guy is insane. A whole line now, Q. The guy's insane. He's out of his mind. Doing just unfathomable at the same time. Just a chump moron idiot, man. I've been telling y'all, man, this guy's out of his mind. This is a good general manager. Miss me with all that, man. Miss me with that. I've been telling y'all this. A lot of this was Sean Payton making these guys look a lot better. That makes no sense to do that with Derek Carr. You had an opt-out. He couldn't pass that physical. We could have got from up under this contract. We could have avoided all this nonsense. But in the end, this injury occurs. The Saints still give him the guaranteed revenue, or the money rather, and now we pivot to this. It's just bad. It's bad management. There's no way around this. I told you the guy is out of his mind. It's just incredibly ridiculous. And then, of course, let's keep it going, man. We're going to get right into some of the news, notes, and items. I'm going to attempt not to hold you guys very long in the broadcast today. But like I said, the show is called Carr Suspicious Shoulder Injury. You know, when did it happen? How did it happen? Ian Rappaport saying that the players were surprised. Saints knew, meaning Mickey Loomis knew. He knew. He believed the Saints knew, which is Mickey Loomis, and still paid him. Which is, it's just, see, when you see, the point is, credit to them for getting rid of David Griffin, because we've been trying to get David Griffin out here for the last couple of years. When you see a fumbling, bumbling, a numbskull at the leadership position, when you actually, it takes a fumbling, stumbling, bumbling moron to hire such a person, because you're supposed to know better, do evaluation work, research, talk to people, and go from there. You're not supposed to just hire. And then once you realize, if they put on their best act or whatever, and you realize who they were, or who they aren't, who they say they were, or who they were, you get them on up out of here. You don't waste 6 years holding on to them, and then through the support base, they finally listen to you, because that's what they do. That's what they do. It was you that got Dennis Allen out of here. It's you that got pressure on Griffin to get him out of here. It is you who is controlling this. I hope y'all understand. Y'all got this by the y'all got this by the jaw. You got a steering wheel there. Y'all guys got a steering wheel in their back. Y'all got a steering wheel now. Don't it feel good, baby? That's what I'm saying, man. You have the power. You know, you got the power. It's just I don't know what more receipts you need to know to see that this guy's out of his mind. Who does that? Who knows that the guy can't make it and still give him the money? He won't throw a pass for the Saints and give him $40 million. You had an opt out. If he didn't pass the physical, which he wasn't, you could have got from up under the deal. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Just crazy. But anyway, a little bit more. We're going to hit this up right here and hit this little one right here. This is Mike Floria. I hope I'm saying his name right, Floria. Talking about, and now listen, Mike Floria doesn't like Derek Carr. I've seen that. He doesn't like him at all. He didn't like him when he was a Raider. He don't like him now. A lot of the stuff that he sees in Derek Carr, we see. You know, we see it not. But listen to what he had to say, which he kind of took it up a notch. This is what he had to say about it. Let me see if I can get this damn thing to work.
Like I feel like this was not a boating accident to have this come out when it did, 13 days before the draft. Like, did he just wake up on Friday and say, my arm, it's broken? I doubt that he had no idea.
This is. I like you're going
Break
here.
stuff. I hear. Track mud on the rug. Just
we see this every year, though. A little.
They're
bit.
treating me this way. I'm gonna get them back. I don't like what they're doing to me. They don't want me here. I can tell they don't want me here.
Okay.
I'm gonna get them back a little bit.
All right.
On my way out the door. I got one more year. I don't want to get benched this year for Shedeur Sanders.
Okay.
Simple as that. If Shedeur Sanders is here, I'm getting benched at some point. If he's not here, I ain't getting benched. It's just part when a relationship has gone sideways, you're going to have both sides engaging in this ugly, awkward Michael and Jan dinner party thing that is going to gradually become more obvious. And I don't think this was a coincidence. I think he knew he was injured, and I think we all found out about it 13 days before the Saints are going to take Shedeur Sanders. And I think at some level he hopes that it's going to screw up their ability to take Shedeur Sanders.
I mean, maybe.
All right, Mike Fiore. I mean, come on, Mike. All right. How about the Flea? All right, shout out to Mike Fiore, man.
He ain't lying.
Talk, boy. All right. Shout out to Chantel. She says, Q, do you know if the Saints had insurance on Carr? I don't think you knew that was a Carr pun, but I got it. The Browns had insurance on Deshaun Watson, and since he's out this year, will not play, they got $150 million back. Cleveland supporters think Carr is faking. Well, if you know, thank you for that.
Thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
They had insurance on Carr. They had to opt out. He had to pass the physical to get the rest of some of that cake, and the Saints could have got from up under that. If he would have failed the physical if he needed surgery for this shoulder. But it's very interesting. Thank you, Chantel. Let me play a little bit of this because Chris Sims then chimes in. He throws a little bit on top of it. Let's see what he added to the conversation. All right, Fiore, I see what you're doing there, brother. Okay. All right, let me see if I can get this damn thing to go because Chris Sims wanted to say some stuff too. And, you know, he don't usually have nothing much to say, but he actually added, oh, the hell with it. All right, so anyway.
I mean, maybe, but at the same time, it almost makes it more of a guarantee that they're going to do that. I mean, that's what it does. I don't know. I understand what you're saying, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm not. If that is what he's doing, I'm not sure I agree with that, and I don't think it's necessarily the right tactical play there. Right? I mean,
well, look at it this way, Chris.
Yeah.
Why would the Saints leak it? It's coming from one of two sources.
No, I don't think it's
from the team or the player.
No,
why the hell would the Saints leak it 13 days before
I don't think they're leaking it either. I think it's a real thing. I think, unfortunately, it sounds like to me, right?
But somebody had to choose to tell Ian Rappaport.
Yeah.
It was either the agent or it was somebody from the Saints.
Well, yeah.
And it's somebody. This isn't one of those that you're going to find. He's not digging in a dumpster, as I said last week, shredded paper, piecing it together. This isn't Woodward and Bernstein stuff. Somebody wanted it out there, and they gave it to him. That's how it works. That's how the sausage is made. Well, yeah. So who wanted it out there, the Saints or the player?
Well, I don't know, because this is such a big thing that it could just come out either way. Like, oh, wait, the starting quarterback might need shoulder surgery. Then people are going to talk about it. I mean, so that's where I don't know if I necessarily believe it's some tactical move. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. And I'm not saying I'm right. Maybe you are right there. What I'm just going to say to say where I don't believe that's a good tactical move is, by all due accounts from everybody I talked to, yes, he's not loved there in New Orleans. He's not loved. They didn't want him to be the quarterback. This isn't going to be the way to endear himself here for one more year and be, let's get behind him and let's feel great about the guy who's trying to play political games and bullcrap behind the scenes here on us.
ain't lying.
And only other thing I'll say too, Mike, is just we do see this every year, unfortunately, where it's like guys don't do anything for 3 months. We have a group of people in the NFL who it's a little bit, I'm just going to let my body rest, right? I'm going to let my body rest. So they do that, and then they get back in the building for the first start of the workout. So then they're like, wait, I haven't done anything, and now I'm moving around, and man, this doesn't feel right, right? This is the first time I actually threw the football. Something's not right, which I can't believe because I was obsessive-compulsive in like 12 days after a season.
Okay, man, let me shut him down. He going crazy up there. But anyway, listen, man, the bottom line is it's a question mark pertaining to all of this. And that was a great question by Mike Fiore. Was it the team or was it the player who leaked this to the press, to Ian Rappaport? And remember, and like I said, people get paid money. You get, nobody don't just give you nothing for free. You get chipped off. That's how it worked. But at the bottom line, who was the one that gave it to him? What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. Y'all throw it in the chat. Who do you guys believe? Once again, thank you, Chantel, for the super chat. Much love. Appreciate you on that information. And let me ask the Who Dat Nation, man. Y'all chime in. Who do you guys believe gave it to Ian Rappaport? Do you guys think it was Carr's agent, or do you think it was the Saints? Who do you believe it was? All right. Shout out to all of y'all, man. Appreciate you. Montreal said Carr. Okay, he thinks it was Carr. Thank you, bro. Jaden, what's up, Jaden? Says Carr. All right, Big Velly says Carr's camp. Okay. Brother John says if Carr is faking this, he won't get another job in the NFL. All right, true that. Cartel says Lemon. All right, we'll see that as the Carr. All right, Big Pond Sellers. What he says, hold on here. Big Pond Sellers says Carr. Thank you, fam. Appreciate you. Young Cities, Carr. Head Trauma. What's up, Head Trauma? Shout out to you, brother. Carr. Vibing with Johnson says Carr's brother. Okay, all right. All right, Tim says it was garbage. He leaked it. Okay, thank you, fam. All right, Clint said doesn't matter. The damage is done. All right, appreciate that, man. Gundam, what's up, man? Says, man, old man Dennis Allen really did shield the car. Dude is a glass house. Yeah, I was telling he was protecting him. V. Griffin said it was Carr. All right, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. All right, yeah. And the Groove says music says David Griffin leaked it before he got it. He said, I'm fired now. Well, you take this. I wouldn't put nothing past that old octopus, man. That's probably what he did. All right, Chantel says, I think it came from the shop. That car is broke, needs repair. Okay, there you go. Thank you. All right, what's up, Cameron? Shout out to Cameron. We good on Rodgers? Cameron Rodgers? All right, we want Sanders, son of the okay, you want Jackson Dart. I got you. Right? Karen? Okay. All right, it wouldn't put it past David Carr. Yeah, Carr. Okay, Carr robbed us. All right. What's up, Black Major? How you doing? Chris says Carr is so childish and a poor teammate. Thank you, man. Appreciate you as well. Now, I asked you that, man, because this whole Carr situation I had to play some of this information just to present it to the family members because I thought it was interesting to get Ian Rappaport's tape about his take on the Carr situation and how it played out, because ultimately we know the guy is they're saying that he's hurt, but you look at, it's weird because he's very present in the media. He got this new YouTube page that he released. He doing this Paris trip where he taking pictures smiling with his family. And it's like a thumbing the nose to the Who Dat Nation. And the fact, and not only that, if you put it on Carr, because Carr is just a player. The team is supposed to protect itself against stuff like this, and they're supposed to see stuff like this coming. That's why I was telling you guys, this is more receipts against the Saints brass, which is just Mickey Loomis. His decisions are bad. This is terrible. And there will be no accountability. And that's the problem. That's why I've been saying about the accountability thing, is that Mickey Loomis needs to be severely chastised for this terrible situation. This cost the Saints $40 million and more, because not just the $40 million this year, but it's also the dead cap hit his bullshit contract incurs next year when you have $69 million cap hit on top of whatever you got going on into the future. This was a bad contract. This was a bad situation, and Mickey Loomis should be thoroughly chastised by the Saints ownership group and Dennis Lauscher and all these kind of guys. The problem is he knows they're not going to do it. That's how he can act like this and do these bad, stupid maneuvers. This was so stupid. This was stupid, but now I guarantee you that they knew about it and they did this stupid ass maneuver and cost the team this kind of money. And then he wants to rework all these contracts and kick it into the future. And it's no at all, no accountability whatsoever. And it just floors me, because at times I'm like, man, listen, this is not how you team build. You can't have a guy at the top of the team with no accountability, and then below him, then all of a sudden accountability kicks in and then the Saints start winning. I mean, that's not how this works. It has to reign from the top down. We have to be a serious organization about winning. We have to have all our ducks in a row. And this is just not how you do it. So that's why I was saying, fam, even though I'm encouraged by Kellen Moore being here, young coach, innovative, mind for offense, could probably piece together a good offense. But when it comes down to guys like Mickey Loomis, I just think that at some point he holds the team back with these decisions, and I think it's just really poor, and it's just terrible. So at the end of the day, it just kind of it kind of suppresses a lot of my thought process on how I feel, how far the team goes. It just suppresses it because I just recognize him as the ultimate buffoon operating the team. Who else could do this type of stuff and not face some type of punishment or retribution for the bad decisions they make for this dumbass dude? To do something as stupid as this whole card thing was stupid. You had an out. The guy was hurt. He wouldn't have passed the physical. We could have got from up under all of it. So I mean, it's just amazing, man. But the card thing is already done. But I'm talking about Mickey Loomis needs to be chastised thoroughly by the brass. Now we know they won't do it, but I'm just saying what you should do, because this is horrible. This is not how you do it. And that's what. And also for my people out there, I've been telling y'all this, that Mickey Loomis is not as good as what you think he is. A lot of what was happening with the Saints was because of Sean Payton. His decisions are questionable by themselves. He has to be, like I kind of joked and called him side chick Mickey, was because he has to have somebody there to play off, and he's to fall in his role as a gopher. He's really good at gophering. He's really good at putting together contracts that destroy the future. He's really good at kicking the can. He's really good at getting you players that you can't afford. He's really good at that. But when it comes down to team building, that is not who Mickey Loomis is. He is not that type of dude. And all this stuff about how great Mickey Loomis, if Mickey Loomis was half as good as you believe him to have been, then he would have never hired Dennis Allen. And you look and talk to all of those other coaches and turn around and hire Dennis Allen. That's one thing. The second thing is he would have never gave him that much room, that much rope to tie himself up, so to speak, and allow him to destroy the team, allow him to backstab players and fracture his own locker room. And Mickey Loomis sits up there and makes excuses and runs interference for him. Smart managers don't do that. They check their head coaches. They evaluate their head coaches. They give them timelines and mandates that if you don't get this done by this period of time, your ass is out of here. He don't do that. You sitting up here telling them, hey, dumb Mickey, that guy you got there, that possum over there is an idiot. He's a moron. He's a chump. Hold on now. Wait, hold on. And look beyond the results. Who comes up with that? The team falling through the floor and this idiot standing up there talking about look beyond the results. Who does that? This guy is crazy, man. I told y'all that. This guy is insane. He's a moron. Y'all getting it now? I've been telling you that. You finally getting it? Like I said, Sean Payton took Denver and turned them around in 2 years, and the Saints still tripping over their own feet. They still tripping over their own feet. I mean, you can't make it up. They tripping the Saints. Sean Payton went to Denver. He been there for 2 years, and he turned Denver around in 2 years, and the Saints still tripping over their own feet. It's unbelievable, man. But this is the latest receipt for how incompetent these people are. My God. Lord. And then the cold-blooded part about it is Mickey Loomis will not see one day in Gail's office where she would chastise him and say, Mickey, did you really do that? Did you do? She won't, none of that. And Dennis Lauscher, he just forget about that guy. He don't know shit. I mean, good Lord. All right, here Trauma says, do you think David Griffin firing puts Mickey Loomis on notice? No, it doesn't. Because many people seen David Griffin as an outsider that they gave him the job to. The Saints right now working on a negotiation to bring Joe Dumars, who's a friend of Mickey, to make him the VP. And like I was telling y'all before, I was talking history on the Pelican postgame report about Joe Dumars, who's a native of Louisiana. Joe Dumars was originally who the VP position was set up to be given to. When Tom Benson was alive all those many years ago, they created a vice president of basketball operation because the highest thing the Pels or the Hornets had was a general manager, which was Dale Demps at the time. They created the VP job in an attempt to lure Joe Dumars, who just had left Detroit, to come in and be to run the Pelicans organization. Joe is a friend of Mickey Loomis. And when they started talking money, Tom Benson said, no, we're not going to pay you that. And then pivoted to just giving the job. He didn't even go talk to nobody else. He just gave the job to Dale Demps, and then Dale Demps was the VP and GM. That's the history of the New Orleans basketball team and Joe Dumars. Now, I do appreciate the fact that they got rid of that guy, Griffin I'm speaking about, and that does not put Mickey Loomis on any kind of notice, because Mickey Loomis is a guy that believes he's untouchable. Doesn't he act like it? You can give away extra draft picks, because like I told you about the Denver Broncos thing, all Denver asked for was Sean Payton in a trade. The Saints sent a 3rd-round draft pick with Sean Payton to Denver. They didn't ask for that. That was Mickey Loomis giving Sean Payton a draft pick to draft with, to build his team with. Where they do that at? If you friends with the man, wish him luck, bomb or watch, don't give draft capital to him, because we need that to build our team. He did that. Nobody questioned it. I'm sitting up here saying, y'all don't see what he just did? They wasn't asking for that 3rd-round pick. They just wanted Payton. He sent draft capital with Payton to help him build a team. Who does that? The $40 million sign off on the Carr contract, and not one member of the upper brass of that organization is going to chastise his ass for that stupid move. And he got a bunch of more. The Dennis Allen move, him not being over Dennis Allen's shoulder, checking him every step of the way, and all this, because he don't do any evaluations during the year. So at the end of the day, no, he's not going to feel any wrath, because there is no accountability above him. There is no account. Dennis Lauscher doesn't know enough to keep anybody in account or nothing. And Gail Benson is in the same place. She fired David Griffin out of pressure. Because notice when they released the statements, fam, this is all strategic. They don't do none of this because they're trying to get a new stadium. They're not going to get a new stadium if they continue to lose like this. They want a new stadium. Because she released a statement about feeling bad about firing David Griffin and all this kind of stuff. Then she reached also the second part of the statement was them talking about improving the Smoothie King Center, and that ultimately leads to them trying to get a new arena for the Pelicans. So they done already actuaried this out. They know that as long as the team continue to lose, they can't request a new building. They even have a spot in the city where they propose that the new building will be constructed. That's what this is about. So trying to hire Joe Dumars, and look, I like Joe Dumars a lot. I think he's a smart man. But listen, before you go to Joe, go talk to some other people. Go talk to Bob Myers. Go talk to others. Just don't automatically fire David Griffin and then 3-4 days later, the same day you negotiating a contract with Joe Dumars. Do some talking, some interviewing some other people. You might find somebody else out there that might fit you better than Joe Dumars. It might be somebody younger, more intact to today's NBA before you worry about what Joe got going on here. Go talk to somebody else. I would have went and talked to Bob Myers, the guy that won 4 championships with the Golden State Warriors. He was a GM and VP. He also was hired as he was hired as a counsel for the Washington Commanders to help them. This guy's a basketball guy. All he does is know how to build up teams and win. Why would I not want him to be my VP and pay him? He on ESPN right now talking or whatever he is. You don't think I can go talk to Bob Myers. Go talk to the assistant of the Sam Presti of OKC's assistant VP. Go talk to him. They know how to win. They know how to build up a team. Go talk to the assistant VP under Brad. What's his name? The VP of the Boston Celtics. Y'all know who I'm talking about. His name escapes me right now, but he was the former coach. He's now the VP there. Go talk to his assistant. You go to organizations that got a culture of winning, consistently winning, and bring them here, interview them, and see what they can do for you. Just don't go right to Joe Dumars. I mean, good Lord. Who are these people? I'm like, man, these people don't have you. Well, hold on, I'm going right to that guy. No, don't go right to that guy. Go talk to some other people before you make a decision on one person. You just fired the man. Give yourself some room to breathe. Go do a thorough, look around. Go interview some guys because, you want to get this right. So it is what it is. But no on that, bro. Thank you.
I wanna say thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
Much love, fam. Appreciate you. Yeah, but that was big news today. We talked about that on PPR not too long after when it broke earlier today. We covered that for family members who want to go to PPR Pelican Post Game Report on YouTube. That's our dedicated Pelican Talk channel. So, I mean, it was I do applaud the David Griffin move because I really didn't think they were going to do it. But like I said, this is economics. This affected their money. That's what Dennis Allen was about. It's impacting the money. That's what I was saying. You control their movements. You got a joystick like you playing Madden or whatever you're doing, 2K, whatever. You got a joystick. The joystick is the money. If you don't show up and you organize and you don't show up, and then you tell them why you're not showing up, man, you can get them to fire, get these dumb people off the team. You can get cheaper prices on tickets. You can get cheaper prices on concessions, and it's all on you. You can get it all cheap because they're overcharging you for everything anyway. Hell, you can get it all down. You get organized back. You probably get some money too. It's just what we want out of the whole thing and what we see our power dynamic as. And I've been speaking on that for some time, and it's good to see that it coming to fruition. All right, so shout out to the fam, man. I just wanted to play that for y'all, man, and also kind of pivot. There is a poll question currently right now that's going on there for the family members. Y'all want to chime in on that? I appreciate the family members for voting on it right now. Should the Saints bring in Aaron Rodgers to start in 2025? What do y'all guys think about that? 88% of the family members said, hell no, Q. 88% versus just 12% saying yes. Get your vote in if you haven't voted, man, because that's going to be interesting as we get ready to kind of pivot to this article. And this is what they have. Shout out to Saints on Sports Illustrated. That's Kyle T. Mosley. Much love to that brother. Saints favored over Steelers to win the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes. Could the Saints steal Aaron Rodgers from the Steelers? Could they steal him from the Steelers? And we talked about this. I'm not really big on Aaron Rodgers. Like I see, he's 41 years old. We've seen a better Aaron Rodgers. I thought last year, him with the Jets, the first year he got hurt on, I think it was the first series or whatever it was. His season was done. They kind of wrecked what the Jets had going on. They had a lot put on him. And then the second year he came back healthy. He had a lot of stuff going on for him, but he got into it with the coaches and all kind of stuff. He had all of the talent. He had Hall, the fantastic running back. He had fantastic wide receivers. He had his partner from that was with the Packers and Devontae over there. I mean, he had a lot going on. And they had a pretty decent-ass defense too, and they just really didn't. They kind of pooped the bed, so to speak, right? So a lot of people, and this is me, I believe that you get a big fork and stick it in him because he done. I mean, having a team that's not talented enough to win is one thing, but having a team like the Jets had last year with Aaron Rodgers, I thought they were good enough to win. A lot more than what we seen them win, and they didn't do that. And he was kind of the reason he was placed there to kind of elevate this team with all this talent and take them to the next level and get them into playoff contention. It just didn't happen. And at 41 years old, man, no, absolutely not. I don't see how it changes if Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback in New Orleans. I don't see how it changes. A 41-year-old quarterback standing back there in the pocket. I don't see why it wouldn't end up the same way it was with the Jets last year. I mean, at some point you got to pivot and go to your young guys. That's what I think. At some point, right? So anyway, let's get into the article, and this is what they're saying here. The Saints need to land a franchise quarterback this offseason after the shocking injury update put Derek Carr's 2025 season in question. With Carr potentially missing the entire season, the Saints will need to draft or sign at least one signal caller in the coming weeks. The top name on the market is former New York Jets star Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers has long been favored to sign with the Steelers if he opts to play next season, but the Saints could emerge as a real suitor in this sweepstakes. Cody Benjamin of CBS Sports recently gave a few reasons why Rodgers could choose the Saints over the longtime favorite Steelers. Quote, but here's the greatest rub for both Rodgers and the Saints. Unlike the Steelers, the Saints do not play in the AFC North, which includes a pair of justified Super Bowl aspirants and the Baltimore Ravens and Cincinnati Bengals, Benjamin wrote. They play in the NFC South, which over the last 3 seasons have crowned the champion with the final records of 8-9, 9-8, and 10-7. Yes, the Buccaneers have been scrappy, but this isn't exactly the league's treasure trove of powerhouses here. In fact, the NFC South's combined record over the last half decade or so easily puts it among the NFL's worst quartets. He also says the only thing the Saints have over the Steelers in this situation is the fact that the division is much easier to play in. With that said, the Steelers also continuously finish near the top of the AFC North, so it's hard to count them out here. Either way, the Saints have a real chance to land Rodgers if they can put a serious offer on the table in the coming weeks. And like I said, man, I think with Derek Carr's injury, Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Fame quarterback, but at 41 years old, I would not recommend the Saints pivot to Aaron Rodgers to be a veteran quarterback for us at any capacity. I would go to a cheaper option. I know we talked about on the previous stream, Teddy Bridgewater's out there. I think Jacoby Brissett's out there. Guys like even Carson Wentz. You just have a veteran guy there, to steady the QB room. But all indications are that if you pivot to Shedeur, let's say if Shedeur is the guy, and with Derek Carr in the situation he in, it just confines and pinpoints the Saints' goal of what they're looking at in terms of the biggest need now for the Saints clearly is the quarter. Well, to me, it was QB coming out too, because we knew that Derek Carr was, a guy that repetitively got hurt. He got hurt the first year, he got cracked up really bad. The second year, he got hurt different times. And this year right here, he's not going to play at all. So 3 injury plague years for the Saints. At some point, you pivot away from the bridge guy, the bridge philosophy, and you just go right to get you a young guy and kind of struggle through. You got a rookie coach, first-time guy doing it. You got the excuse, whatever it is. I guess people wouldn't be as mad because, you're coming in with a guy that never did it before. So you are allowed room to grow. You see what I'm saying? Even though we don't want to hear it, but I think it is a foregone conclusion in the brains of the great mighty Who Dat Nation that at some point we have to pivot to rebuilding when you got a young head coach here who's first time doing it. I think they'll be patient with what you got going on, right? Because this is what we accept. And he's like, okay, it's time to rebuild. We can't keep running on forever with these old ass players. At some point, we gotta replace the Cams, the DeMarios, the Tyrann Matthews. At some point, the Taysom Hills. We gotta move and get younger people and go into the future, because we tried that and it didn't work for us the last 3 years. The window has closed on that. So with that being said, you have to move into that rebuild philosophy because your adversaries, be they the Atlanta Falcons or the Carolina Panthers, those guys have already found their rookie quarterbacks, or their young quarterbacks rather, and these guys are into year 2, going to year 3 of their rebuild, and you are just stepping in through the door. So you're kind of behind in development. You see what Bryce Young's doing in his second year looks a lot better. He's going to be going into, third year, year 3? Is that year 3 for Bryce Young? And then, of course, Atlanta's young quarterback, he'll be going in year 2. So the Saints are kind of following behind these guys. So that has to change, man. We got to get this stuff sought after and done. So I would have to say no on the Aaron Rodgers. Y'all let me know. The poll says hell no on Aaron Rodgers either. So I agree with you guys on that as well. All right, and then, of course, our final story, man. I'm not trying to hold you guys for very long on tonight's stream. Cowboys Saints open voluntary offseason workout programs today. So there you go right there as the Saints kind of get into it. It's back to the classroom for the spring session for both the Saints and the Cowboys. The two clubs kicked off their voluntary offseason workout programs today, joining 5 other teams with new head coaches that began their workouts last week. What are the Bears, Jaguars, Raiders, Patriots, and the Jets? Teams with first-year head coaches kick off voluntary portions of their workouts earlier than the rest of the league. The other 25 clubs begin next week. Phase 1 runs the first 2 weeks of the program. So Activities during this phase are limited to just meetings, strength and conditioning, and physical rehabilitation. Which you should see Carr there as opposed to Parrish or wherever he's going on around if he's really hurt. But then again, he's supposed to see about getting surgery and all this kind of stuff. But it's all very funny how it all works. But anyway, that's some of the stuff. The workout program is voluntary outside of the mandatory minicamp in June. Both the Cowboys and Saints will hold theirs on June the 10th through 12th. Y'all mark that down in your calendars, June 10th through 12th. That'll be for the voluntary outside mandatory minicamp, right? The spotlight will shine on the Saints coach Kellen Moore as each, and they talk about him and Schottenheimer in their phase 1 situation, the lingering questions surrounding their squad. But New Orleans Friday, Ian Rappaport, the quarterback, Derek Carr is dealing with his shoulder issue. That's what Rappaport reported that could jeopardize the 2025 season, thrust even more uncertainty onto Kellen Moore's plate. The Saints were already one team that might have considered drafting a first-round quarterback. New Orleans currently holds the 9th overall pick. The Carr news heightens the potential expectation. How the first-time head coach manages this situation this week will be worth monitoring. So the start off-season program is a big step toward the ultimate goal of lifting a Lombardi Trophy on February 8th of 2026 for the Saints and Cowboys. The infant-sized stride is accompanied by big questions that will color the off-season process. So there you go right there for the off-season voluntary off-season workout program starting today for the black and gold. So some of the news of the day as well. So like I said, man, very interesting. All this is very interesting to on top of, and like what Ian Rappaport was talking about with Derek Carr and his situation revolved around what they believed happened there. It's just what it is. So at some point now, we know that the draft will obviously be the Saints jostling or positioning to being into a spot where they can get probably not going to get Cam Ward, but Shedeur Sanders. So all of the league knows that. So that's not good. That's not good for them to have that information. Usually, you want to be able to have some kind of some stealthiness about how you maneuver. What if some other teams like Shedeur? What if the Steelers say, hey, man, we want Shedeur, the Saints feeling like that? Let's get super aggressive. Let's see if we can move ahead of them and jump that kind of thing. So, like I said, between now and next week, you start seeing the Saints. Will there be some movement to kind of secure a spot where they need to be? Some people saying, Q, he going to slide. I'm not so certain on that. Because they're not giving me a reason why he slid. They're just talking shit about the man. And there's nothing to back it up on. There's nothing he didn't. Like I said, I'm going to stick to it. I'm fair. I hadn't seen nothing to tell me why he hadn't played football in several months. His 4 years worth of tape are impeccable. Now he's not 6'2", he's 6'1.5". Now he don't have a strong arm and he ain't that fat. All this kind of stuff. It's all this stuff. He ain't I played Jason Jones for y'all yesterday. What was it, the other day? He ain't. Some people around the league saying that he's not even a top 15 ranked quarterback. Now some of them saying that he ain't even the first round quarterback. I'm like, what? What are you basing that on? He's not hurt. He hadn't done anything detrimental to his draft stock since the college football season was over with. There's nothing that you can pin on him. He might his pro day wasn't all that, but it wasn't enough to drag him out of the first round. I mean, one of those big beautiful ones, but at the same time he handled his damn business. He handled his business. He made some throws. He made all the throws that he needed to throw. He impressed them on one of the deep balls to the wide receiver. So he's steady and competent. Now they're saying that, man, ain't even a franchise quarterback. When I see that and there's no real putting evidence while you just bottoming him out like that, that's them throwing dirt on him to try to lower his stock. Which, if that works well if you're the Saints, because you don't have to send capital up to go and get him if he's just going to slide to you there. But at the same time, the Raiders are talking to him. The Raiders set up an interview to talk to Shedeur Sanders. And I know the Raiders got Geno Smith, and they probably end up getting Genty. But at the end of the day, you have to consider that. It can't be a rehashing of the Pat Mahomes situation where Sean Payton was loving on Mahomes, saying he's the best quarterback I ever scouted, and then don't move up to where he needs to be to go get him, and then lets Kansas City jump ahead of him, and then the rest is history. Can't do that. All right, so anyway, fam, let me pivot to you guys. Y'all got any questions? Please feel free to throw them in the chat. I'll be rapping with you guys for a few more minutes. What's up, Backwood? Shout out to your cartel. Much love. Y'all hit the like button for me, please. Mo Better says Loomis needs to be on the same bus with Griffin head out of town. I agree, bro. The accountability thing, man. You can't run a competent organization without having accountability. You just can't do it. You can't having guys walking around like the untouchable. And that's what Mickey Loomis does. He walks around, he can do anything. He just tests the limits of his foolishness by doing the most stupidest and irrational stuff that you can possibly imagine. He just does it and then thumbs his nose at you. Gale says nothing. Lauscher says nothing. And I say, listen, man, you have the power to rip away the general. Just take the general manager job away from him. I don't care about firing him. Just take the general manager position away from him. He's a VP and GM. He don't need both those titles. Just take it away. It's a simple thing. Take the goddamn general manager position away from him. Because really, he don't need that. He like I said, these decisions showing you that he's not it, man. Side chick Mickey. That's right, brother. Side chick Mickey. He ain't the wife. He the side chick. And like I said, I had to apologize to all side chicks everywhere. Let me just say it straight up. I had to apologize to all side chicks everywhere for throwing Mickey Loomis in the group. Let me just put that to you. So I apologize to y'all before y'all get mad. All right? Okay? I love y'all. Side chick Mickey. Oh, I know, goddammit. All right, Mr. O says, Q, Carr essentially dropped a Walmart lemon baked chicken in our Monday or RB&R red beans and rice. That's a deal. What's up, Mr. O? How you doing, sir? Hey, Ms. Fist says, Q, have you seen the movie Anger Management? Carr reminds me of the Brownie Girl. I remember Anger Management. I'm going to have to look up that part about the Brownie Girl. I don't remember the Brownie Girl, but I remember the movie Anger Management. Thank you, bro. All right. Tim said Mickey got 3 former GM doing his shit. That's true. All of them. It's crazy. It's crazy. That tells you that this is a guy that's, number one, he's an attention whore. He's a guy that says he's reported. He says he gets in front of those press conferences and says he hates doing the press conferences. Well, we hate having you up there. You don't have any information. When you have the end of the season press conferences, the guy never has anything. He just sits up there and looks stupid. I mean, he doesn't have any evaluations done. He doesn't do any evaluations. Why have an end of season press conference when you don't have any answers for anything? How's he getting away with that? But Gail smiles, and Dennis Lauscher is just wherever he is at the cafeteria somewhere, stuffing his damn face. But at the end of the day, no, it's just it's ridiculous. He hired all them former general. He had the former Raider general manager working. He hired one of my favorite former general managers back, Randy Mueller, back. He hired him back, and Mueller should be the GM, and Mickey should be the VP. Randy Mueller should be a GM. Well, I like Kai Hartley because I thought Kai kind of reflects today's NFL. He has more of the vibe and how things are going on. I think he'd be a little bit more imaginative of how to build a team, could link to the players. Mickey Loomis is a guy that stays away from him. He goes in his office, he closes the door, he don't talk to no players, and I don't know what kind of general managing you doing when you don't even engage with the players consistently. How you didn't know, like the Jameis Winston thing was going on with Dennis Allen when they were beefed out. What was Mickey Loomis at? He's supposed to be overseeing that when there's problems between the coach and the top quarterback. He's supposed to iron out those wrinkles. It was nowhere to be found. He don't talk to the players. You can't be a general manager that don't engage with the players consistently. How are you going to know the temperament of your team, the temperature of your team? How would you know if you don't talk to them? He doesn't talk to those people. And you're right, he does have 3 former general managers doing it, and it still ain't working. And you can have the best information, but if you're not making the correct decisions, all that doesn't mean anything, does it? Yeah, Riley says, Mickey Q, Mickey Q, explain yourself with the car. Hold on now, goddammit. Hold on. Derek Carr's a good quarterback. Hold on now. And it's all right. Everybody has a bad day every now and again. I don't, but Derek Carr is a good guy. And we just have to take care of Derek, okay? All right, so it'll be all right, and I promise Dennis Allen, okay? All right, there it is. So I mean, it's crazy, man. Yeah, he says Slick Mickey is a G. All right. But yes, but Q, Sean's my friend. That is, man. Listen, it's crazy, man. What kind of organization are we running here? What kind of organization are we running? All right, Richard says, Mickey Loomis is that Warner Brothers cartoon shot about the cat with 9 lives. He really scared, then dies and come back and gets more and more reckless with each death. He thinks he's invincible. You might be right on that, my brother. What's up, Abraham? Shout out to you. What's up, Desi, baby? Much love to the queens out there. Good to see y'all as well. Cap Manny, what's happening, fam? Say, ain't gonna lie, I think we dodged the bullet with not getting Aaron Glenn, in my opinion. To be honest, I feel like we're going to have at least one of the best offensive teams in the league. You might be right, bro. We aiming in the right direction, so you don't have to worry about Carr. So whatever they do in terms of a quarterback, but Shador, even if it's not Shador Sanders or it's Jackson Dart, because a lot of people believe it's between those two guys. A lot of people believe if the Saints can't get Shador Sanders, that they'll, I ain't gonna say settle for Jackson Dart, but then you got to have a backup option if you can't get the person that you want, right? We know that the quarterback position is now the far most important position there, right? But if you're the Saints, I feel like they're going to do, I ain't going to say move heaven and earth, but let's just say they'll be aggressive in their approach to get Shador. I mean, I think this is a foregone conclusion one way or the other. They got to have a guy, right? They got to have a quarterback. All right, Dr. Gray said, what's up, everybody? Saints don't need another veteran diva. At QB, we need a QB who is invested to the city, coachable, and able to play. Thank you, Dr. Gray, with that recipe, my brother. Appreciate you. Shout out to my girl, Deborah. Appreciate you. Much love. Chantel says, is it true 49ers are letting Brock Purdy go? I don't think so. I haven't heard that. What's up, Lori, baby? Shout out to Lori. Good to see you in there. How you doing, Lori? T Dirty, what's popping, baby? What's happening, my brother? Mad Drummer says, Q, have you seen that BS sit on trading for Will Levis out of fall damn people? Is that what you're saying right there, Mad Drummer? No, I haven't seen that, bro. I wouldn't co-sign that one, brother. Will Levis could stay where he is, brother. Will Levis could stay where he is. He all right. All right, Cartel says, Q, I've been watching a lot of tape these past few weeks, and I really like Curtis Roke's tape. Oh, okay, out of Indiana. Any thoughts? Yeah, I've seen him play. Got him real low on the board. Yeah, and dude, you're right, Cartel. He can play, man. He lights it up, man, there. And Indiana had a lot of success because of him, man. He got a lot of high stats, good throws. He was very productive in Indiana, kind of lit him up, kind of woke him up down there, won a lot of games. So him coming out, I think, a lot of other quarterbacks, maybe it's because of the program don't usually hails like, top quarterbacks or whatever the case may be. But you looking at a draft, that's what I was saying about this draft. Looking at like Cam Ward, it was Shador Sanders, even Bucky Brooks. I showed y'all Bucky Brooks, who's a very respected scout. He had Shador over Cam Ward. And that's what I'm saying. That's been the case the entire college season up until like a month or so ago. Then they flip-flopped him, and then all of a sudden Shador sliding like they put 100-pound weights around his neck. He just sank it to the bottom of the murky blue. I don't see what's going on with that. But yeah, they have some other really good quarterbacks, as developmental quarterbacks that can help you. And some of these guys are a mix. Like you have big quarterbacks that can stand and throw like a Kyle McCord, who I think should be higher. But there's a second tier quarterback group that has guys like Jackson Dart and Quinn Ewers from Texas and guys like that. And then there's a third tier group of guys that have a collection of people that are big quarterbacks, like the quarterback from Ohio State. You got Gabriel, the quarterback from Oregon. You can throw guys like Rourke from Indiana. There's guys like also Tyler Shue from Louisville is kind of creeping up into that second tier of people, and I like his game. It's just I haven't seen enough of him. Meaning, he had that one really solid year for Louisville last year, and I haven't seen enough of that. Usually, when you see that happen, you want to see if that's the guy is really who he is. That's why I like when those guys stay in college for like 4 years. You get a larger sample size of who they really are. You can see the maturation in their game. That's why I was really big on what I seen from Cam Ward. That's why I was big on what I seen from Shador. And playing under the name of a Hall of Fame celebrity father, when everybody critiquing your movements, this kind of thing. And the kid excelled at the ultimate position in football, the QB position. He thrived at it at a small school for 2 years, then jumped to Colorado with all the glitz and everything that was surrounding him, and he didn't even have a decent offensive line, but he turned in really good stats. That bodes well. So, like I said, man, it's a lot to kind of look at. But like I said, there are several quarterbacks that I like that are considered, like they would consider them developmental quarterbacks, 2 franchise guys, potential starters. Like don't get it mixed. Like you have franchise guys right out the gate, guys can lead your organization, like they'll be the face of the league. And then there's other guys that can come in and eventually develop into solid starters. So you got at least a good group of those that's in this draft. Depending on where they go, they got the talent to ascend. So yeah, I've seen Rourke's tape, and he's pretty decent, man. He got a lot of production there in Indiana. It's just I think he's kind of sunk into that third level of where they have the QBs list. Very interesting. All right, what's up, Bronze? Bobby says, did you see the video Carr posted on IG driving the car, advertising 5 hours ago saying former Raider? No, I did not, man. But I've seen the images of him on vacation. Listen, man. Some of this stuff, you just don't do this stuff. Like I don't know, this type of stuff just makes people just don't like you. Like you starting a YouTube page about fun, life, and all that with your brother and all that, cool. But consider, what's going on right now. Like number one, he's pondering whether or not to have surgery. That's not, if you need to have surgery or not, right? That's a decision you make lickety split. You don't sit there and go on vacation. Or after I come back from vacation, I'm ponder on it, right? And it just doesn't feel like there is no urgency around the motions that Derek Carr is doing. It's like it's a foregone conclusion, like he's not going to be available for the Saints. And I'm not mad. Me personally, I don't think Derek Carr should be here. I thought when Dennis Allen got fired last year, that's the end of the Carr experiment, because Derek Carr is here because of Dennis Allen. When he got canned and you hired a new coach, the new coach needs to have his own quarterback. That's the whole thing. And the Who Dat Nation and a lot of the top people that was talking about this were right. The man, you're going to bring him in here, let him have his own quarterback. And plus, Derek Carr wouldn't have passed that physical to be able to get that rest of that money. You could have opted out of the contract because he needed to pass a physical to get to the next level. He wouldn't have not been able to pass that physical. The Saints still paid this man, and that's why I was kind of saying about Mickey Loomis. That's not how you do this. And I'm saying this, that he needs to be chastised for that. That's not what you're supposed to do. That is totally wrong. And for him doing that, he's basically thumbing his nose at how a team is properly ran. And that's why I have doubts about the success of the Saints going forward, as long as that idiot moron chump is on top of them. Nobody's going to respect you when you got dumb people like that operating, man. The guy, and you at least strip him of the general manager title. Just take it from him, man. You don't do this kind of business and expect people to have love for you or respect for you. Like I've been took off the rose-colored glasses on making Loomis. When I started doing research on, I'm like, hold on here. And then you see Sean Payton winning, and the people Sean Payton left here couldn't do nothing without him. Pete Carmichael couldn't do nothing. Dennis Allen couldn't do nothing. Mickey Loomis can't do nothing. It's been 3 years of football hell because they made bad decisions at the head coach level. They got a non-accountable, backstabbing weasel of a coach over the team and a dumbass general manager VP guy protecting him. Totally looking past all of his vices. And then sits up here brazenly to you and tells you, I don't have any regrets. Dennis Allen is a great coach. Didn't he not say that? Put one in the chat if he said that. What you going to do with that? The guy consistently and thoroughly says the most ridiculous things that you want to hear, but yet he's still some type of way, some VP and general manager of a professional NFL team. He's basically screaming for help and they letting him tear up the team. I mean, it's just, I don't know what to tell you. DJ, what's up, Colorado? How you doing, fam? DJ D Smooth says, what team they can trade up with? What should they offer? Pick swaps, 3. I mean, it depends, bro, because they would have to monitor, and you're talking in terms of Shador, because they got their sights on him. You know, the Saints have, bro, it's a foregone conclusion. They have to have a franchise quarterback that affixes to Kellen Moore. It's not going to be Cam, because Tennessee won't give up the pick, so you might have to go with Cleveland. And it really depends on if Cleveland is really going for, because like Chantel will talk about, they want to go with either Abdul Carter or, which I don't know why they would do that, but Cleveland is Cleveland. And, Travis Hunter, they like Travis Hunter there. And they figure they can go back around, draft Travis, and then some kind of way move around and move back up into the first round to go and get Sanders. So, I mean, that's some of the talking points that's going on currently. I don't exactly know. You know, I don't know how it's going to play. So that's one of them situations that as a team, you just have to be very mindful of, because you're going to have other teams behind you looking at your door. They're not vocal about it right now. And they never are until you get closer to that draft, and then you're going to start seeing people really shoot at them. Watch how this go. All this shit about the word around the league. They don't like Shador, and they're not really, the vibe on them is lukewarm. You're talking like a week or so before the draft, like a week and a half at the time. That all changes. If he falls to us at 9, I will absolutely love that, because you got to eventually have a franchise quarterback to put with Kellen Moore. They can grow together. That's a very important position. You get your head coach, you get your quarterback that he has faith in, and you guys just have to be patient and allow them to build together. That's just how it's going to go. And like I said, we still have Spencer Rattler there, right? Spencer's not chopped liver. I don't want to give the impression that Spencer Rattler is chopped liver. I don't want to give that impression at all. Jake Haener is chopped liver. Okay, let's just get that straight out. Let's get that straight. Jake Haener's chopped liver, not Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler will compete against whoever they draft. But hell, there was a report that Spencer was down there training. He's getting ready, and some people say he's ready. I'm saying he's getting ready because he's going to continue to work hard. But the second year, he was 0 for 6 as a starter. He's going to give whoever the franchise quarterback is a run for his money. He's going to play with a chip on his shoulder. So whoever it is, who they're going after, Spencer's going to give him a run for the money. So we're going to see how it all goes, man. We'll see how it moves. Mont says Randy Mueller's the GM that started the winning culture and New are starting with the first ever playoff win in franchise history. Thank you, fam. Appreciate you for that. John, what's up, John? Says shout out to Kellen Moore for coming in and speaking his mind and standing his ground and saying he didn't want that bum ass QB. Well, I don't know if he exactly said that, John, but I'm glad it worked out that way, because like I said, man, you couldn't have, if you're Derek Carr's publicist or whatever, you couldn't have chose a worse time to try to start a YouTube channel. Right now, people, you just broke the news that you hurt. You just suckered this. Well, I ain't gonna say you suckered the Saints, because you didn't sucker the Saints. The Saints have all his medical, so he can't sucker the Saints. So let's just get that straight. He didn't rob the Saints. The Saints gave him the money. Mickey Loomis is the inside man. If you want to put it robbery like that, how you robbing a bank and you got an inside man that gave you the code to the vault and then told you the schedules for the all the people working in there and how the bank operates. All you had to do was just architect your little thing and get in there and handle your business. You got an inside man running, sabotaging it. So I mean, he made sure Carr got that money despite Carr being hurt, and he knew that he would not pay not one piece of pain for doing that. That Gail Benson and dumb Dennis Lauscher would stop stuffing his face for one moment and face down Mickey Loomis and chastise him for that, or demote him or take that general manager position away from how he'd been running this team. You could fail consistently for years, 3-4 years, and talk shit to the fan base and family base rather, and stand up here and be a fake elitist and talk stupid and tell them, look past how crappy the team look and all this kind of nonsense and still keep your position. That's a bad message. Bad message. I don't know if he told him that, but I feel your pain. I feel what you're saying, brother. All right. So anyway, what's up, Sonya? How you doing, Sonya? Shout out to you, Sonya. Byron says, what up, fam? He says, once again, hurt again. Yeah, and it's just the worst time. Cars on, you're going on vacation, go on vacation, do your thing. But you got to understand what you're doing here. People, you sign an arrangement. You restructured the deal to come back here. Now you have the situation where you have an injury that could sideline you for the rest of the year. People are some kind of way kind of joyous about it because they really wanted you going anyway. But it's hard to say his own car. This is a Mickey Loomis transaction totally. Yeah, Cartel says he has the best rating. He's the best under pressure. Yeah, I say he moves really well. He just doesn't have that press, bro. He doesn't have the press. Like I said, he is a good quarterback. They just see him more as a developmental option. So whoever gets him, man, you never know. Bobbing with the Johnson says Q Kellen building with his own QB right now. Yeah, that's right. Spencer, huh? I got you, fam. I got you. I picked that one up. What's up, Randolph? Shout out to my dog, Randolph. Antoinette, how you doing, Queen? I see you. Handsome Nerd said the $30 million injury guarantee. There was no opt-out. No, we ain't talking about that, bro. We talking about there was an opt-out that was going on with the rest of that contract that he had to pass a physical to get to. He had to pass a physical. How did he get to that next layer without passing? He was hurt. That's what I'm talking about. And that was reported by Nick Underhill, that reported by Triplett and all those guys. And the family members, y'all put one in the chat if y'all remember the opt-out that he had to get through to get to the rest of that contract. Put it in the chat and let people know about it, because that was well covered about that. He had to pass a physical. How did he pass that physical if he had to have shoulder surgery? He would have failed the physical. And another thing is, and I threw this up before, it's all very crazy if you think about it, and really it's just insane, because how was he seeking to be traded if he was hurt? You see what I'm saying? There was ramblings that he was looking at being traded to the Giants. How was he going to pass a physical if he had this shoulder injury? How would he been able to pass the physical if he was trying to get traded to the Giants or traded? Y'all see what I'm saying? Because this was before this came out. That's why people are questioning whether or not this is real or not. So they want to know when did this happen? When did this happen? What time did this happen? What's the answers here? The Saints have all the answers. Notice it's been more than a couple days now, and not one of these people done came out to talk about it. They're not going to talk about it. Mickey Loomis is not going to talk about it. When did Derek Carr get hurt? How was they talking? He was promoting to get traded to the Giants. Remember that was talk about him being traded to the Giants, and they're working on deals to be traded because he wanted to get out of here. How was he going to pass the physical? How was he going to pass if he was hurt? So was he hurt at that time? If so, when did the guy get hurt bad enough where he needed surgery? You see what I'm saying? When did it come about? The timeline is very suspicious. It's a suspicious timeline. It's just very suspicious. And that's why people do not like this guy. The Who Dat Nation is not wrong, man. The Who Dat, they tried to paint you like you wrong. They tried to say the Who Dat Nation. They try to give you this thought process like you some person without intelligence, and that you just rabid, and that you just go for anything, and you just don't have a brain in your head about how he just hating on the guy. All this kind, they just do extra stuff to say, oh, that's such a. Me personally, I was saying that the Who Dat Nation, I didn't think the Who Dat Nation really cared that much about him, but there's a great number of people that despise him because how he handling it. Because, man, listen, we seen through all of that stuff. And me personally, I don't really give a one way or the other. But you see phonies, like it was the David Griffin thing. When you come to New Orleans, we can see through that. We know you fake. Don't come with the I'm a good guy and you come to my church. You're gonna come, come over to the house. We're gonna have some steaks and we're gonna go over there, and then you go over there, you eat steaks with them, and then when the football on the field start going, he backstabbing you and fussing at you, telling you running the wrong routes, cussing at you. Eric McCoy about to tear his head off. Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, don't make a difference. So when you're on the field, you turn like a who wants to hang with somebody that's an angel off the field but a demon on it? That shows something wrong there. So I mean, the hospital ball, the Chris Olave got the worst of that. Derek Carr walked off that goddamn field. He walked off that field. Chris Olave's brother was pissed by that, by the way. He should be. He threw that man up there, and the quarterback's supposed to see all that before he deliver that ball. He's going to throw that ball with safeties around there. You put that ball low and away. You put that ball up there, that goddamn guy didn't even take credit for that until the pressure was on him. Is that your leader? Is that your leader? Mm-mm. So that's the thing. You did all that talking, and that talking, we don't want to hear all that. It was not enough. $150 million for 2 wins above 500 will not win you anything in the city of New Orleans. David Griffin got his walking papers for all that talking, all that word salad. We don't want to hear that. You getting all this money, you come down here and win. This shit's not difficult. You do what you're supposed to do, you'll win. It's when you do all this extra stuff, talking about you studying film and you don't see yourself staring people down. How you studying film and you're not recognizing what you're doing that's tearing up everything. Captain freaking check down over here. Checking the ball down 1,000 times in the game. Man, come on, man. Bro, people see all of that. They're not crazy. People are not crazy. They know what they're looking at. That's the point. They know who you are. They can see through your fake facade, your fakeness. They can see right through it. They're not buying it. They're not buying it. So you can have all of the steak dinners and treat your offensive linemen, all that kind of shit. But we still remember when the moment matters, when you're on the field, who you are and what you do. Remember, the answers is in the building. Y'all remember that one? The answers is in the building. All that losing they was doing was like, man, what's going on? Well, answers is in the building. Put one in the chat if you remember that one. Jeff Duncan asked, said, what are the answers? Well, I can't tell you because the answer's in the building. Then the next week they lose. So, bro. No, man. No. All very terrible. Doc54 says, according to Underhill, Carr was pissed about the restructuring. Loomis knew he wanted out. Saints put the ability to restructure without his consent in his contract. Mickey Loomis is like I said, Mickey Loomis is a rash you can't get rid of. That's how I display, and I hate to be so visual with it, but Mickey Loomis is a rash you can't get rid of. That's what it is. And he behaves like it. He knows that he has a bit of untouchableness for him, and really he shouldn't have that. And I just wish that Gil Benson would spank his ass. I really would, like, just say, okay, look, Mickey, we appreciate you for all the service that you do, but we're going to rip this general manager position away from you. We're going to give it to somebody else. That would be huge. It's time. He can't sit up there forever. He's been up there for 20 plus years. It's time to go, man. He told the people last year that he feels like he can be there for another 10 years. I'm like, you can't leave that up to him. You can't leave it up to him to leave when he wants to. No, you got to push him out the door. Sometimes you got to. It's crazy. Brother Randolph says Carr took the money to come play for his boy Dennis Allen. He has never got over being released by the Raiders. Derek Carr is not. This is like I said, it was a bad bet bringing Derek Carr down here. When Dennis Allen left, Carr should have left. Mickey Loomis is the fault of all this family. I know people don't like Derek Carr, and rightfully so. I'm not telling you who you should like and who you shouldn't like. All I'm telling you is the truth. The truth is, this is all on Mickey Loomis. Mickey Loomis could have gotten Carr out of here. He could have paid him off and moved on. We could have did what we needed to do to get this guy out of here and start again. It was him with no imagination and no plans doing this stuff. And, and once again, it's just what it is. They knew. All right, Slim, shout out to you. Says, yeah, Carr the only QB to jump up and smash his own face. Yeah, I call it tongue kissing the turf monster. He was trying to make a play. I give him credit for that. But if don't ever leave your feet without a plan on how to touch the ground, you know what I'm saying? Don't leave your feet if you don't know how you're going to land. Now, he jumped up trying to make a play. I don't know why would you try to jump over the head of I don't understand why you would do that. I can respect him trying to make a play, but he it was very comical how he ended up doing that. Randolph said he never embraced the city. Right. Well, the city didn't embrace him because they know fakeness, but we'll give you a shot, right? We'll give you a chance. We ain't that hardcore. Well, we ain't gonna give you a chance. But that's the same thing like with Willie Green. We give you a chance, and if you don't show what you can do, we want you up out of here because we're trying to win something. We're not gonna just get stuck to you. You being a likable person is one thing, being a person that's winning something. You're in a business where you have to win. True or not? Me liking you has nothing to do. That's a plus if you're winning, but if you're losing, the likeness won't stop me from firing you. You see what I'm saying? I cannot have you here if you're not winning. That's how I view it. So being a cool person and all this stuff is one thing. It's a plus when we winning, but it won't stop me from getting you on out the door if we lose. And that's how you got to be. That's how it is in the competitive professional sports world, right? Look, all the ones in the chat. Thank y'all. What's up, St. Doug? Shout out to you. All right, Rich. What's up, brother? Says they bend over backwards for Carl, but F over Jameis privileges the MFQ. I got you, bro. Thank you for that. Appreciate you.
Say thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
I just think it's really comical that the Saints spent all this money on Derek Carr. It'll be all this money they spent for Derek Carr. And what was his record? Hold on, let me pull up Derek. What is Derek Carr's record as a Saints quarterback? It's just ridiculous. What was his record? Derek Carr's record with the Saints is 14-13. He started 27 of 68 possible games on his contract with the Saints. It spent $150 million for that. Is that right? Derek Carr's record, this is called AI, says that his record was 14-13. That's 14-13, $150 million, 27 of 68 possible games for the Saints. Man. Is that right? $150 million for 14, and that's where it meets the road, right? That's where it meets the road, right? That's where, because that's what you want to pin to. That's what you want to pin to when you find out, exactly what did we pay for? What did we pay for? 14-13 record, $150 million for a 14, because he won't play any games this upcoming season. So you can basically add whatever games, the 17 games of the regular season for 2025 onto the 68 something odd games that he didn't play out of 68 possible games, they say. 14-13 record. $150 million for a 14-13 ass quarterback. Y'all see what I'm talking about? And that's why the family base and the supporters are so upset about all of this. It just doesn't make any sense. And then Mickey Loomis pins this guy to us. Brother Randolph says, Q, Carr got hurt doing non-football activities. Team could seek to recoup money if I understand the CBA agreement. Well, has it been established, my brother, that it was non-football related? Because based on the research, and you might have heard something I haven't heard about that, but it had not been established that it was a non-football injury. The Saints haven't volunteered any information to clarify this, bro. They're already moved beyond it. Like, if we dealing with it, and whatever y'all talking about, we don't care. We just gonna do it whatever the way we do. That's how they rolling with. That's how the Mickey Loomis is rolling with it. So I don't know if it's non-football related at all. But I'm just asking the questions because, like I said, just asking questions. Derek Carr was seeking a trade before the restructure, which means that he was healthy to seek a trade because idealistically you have to pass a physical for the trade to go through, because most people are not going to accept you on, okay, a trade if something's going wrong, right? Especially if it's something like a shoulder issue, like you gonna need surgery on, that's enough to squash the deal. But if he was healthy enough then to request it, like he was seeking a trade with the Giants, there was real rumors there saying, that was valid, saying that he was in that, looking in that. I'm like, okay. So between then and now, where did this happen? Where if it was, so like I said, it's something funny and stink about the whole deal, man. It is something very rotten about this whole deal. And I'm thinking the top culprit is Mickey Loomis. That's what I had to pivot back to Mickey Loomis. I think he's it. So yeah, I don't know, Randolph, when did he get hurt? He says, it's had to be a reason they have been scouting the QB class. I know I said that, Randolph. You and I on the same wavelength with that, my brother. You're on the same wavelength like with that, because I talked about that. I said, yeah, they were really scouting these quarterbacks very hard. Like, you've seen the Saints moving around a bit, but they talked to all of the top quarterbacks, that they could do in this draft. And they were really going hell bent at it to the point where it kind of looked, the energy kind of put them towards Shador, and they kind of linked the two in the Saints. And I'm like, damn, because usually that don't happen like that. Usually they'll be cool and they'll approach and move around. But this time you really seen they got really aggressive in their energy toward certain players to the point where you like, okay, damn, yeah, they really like that guy. So yeah, you're absolutely right. So they been knew it. It's just, when did this happen? That's the whole point. And I don't know, fam. I don't know if we'll ever get that information. So if it's non-football or not, you're probably right. But who's to say one way or the other, bro? It's just not how. That's not how you do it. Slim said this is a cover up, in my opinion, because they knew they screwed up with Carr's contract. All right, Cap Man. It says you can bet your money, it's going to get. He says it's going to get, or already is getting investigated. They're not going to let that slide. Okay, thank you. What's up, St. Doug? He said he'll probably blame it on the lingering injury. But the Saints supposed to catch it. If they blame it on the Saints are supposed to catch that. That's up on the Saints medical staff. The Saints medical staff have a foul up. We won't. I don't know if we'll ever get that. John says, dude is the worst QB ever, who somehow, some way keeps getting contracts and getting paid. I feel like he's either one of the Freemason boys, or he's the major dirt owners of Goodell. Okay, thank you, brother. All right, Slim said he can't fake the energy with the Who Dat Nation. And yeah, indeed, bro. Randolph said the injury had to occur after the trade demands. Think about how abruptly all of a sudden trade talks died down. I thought that was in collection because the Saints had already kind of started working on the restructure. So I know a lot of that started happening once the Saints started pivoting to, we started getting word that they were working on Derek Carr's restructure. Then you start hearing the trade talk die down. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I see we're trying to restrict and find a timeline of what that happened, because based on what we was following, a lot of this stuff just doesn't make sense. I mean, I understand you get hurt, but to the point where you need surgery, one would think it was non-football related, which would be on Derek Carr, but they are not giving any information about that. So even the insiders don't know, bro. Ian Rappaport was saying he don't know. But all he can tell you, like I played it earlier in the broadcast, all he can say is that the Saints knew. He said that they knew. And they still gave him the money anyway. So that's on Mickey Loomis, fam. That's on Mickey Loomis, more so on him than anybody. That's just terrible, isn't it? Just like I said, I'm without words on that. Matt Jones says, secure, are we going to face any consequences if he is diagnosed with a lingering injury? I don't know, bro. Louisiana, thank you for, bro, says hell no to Aaron Rodgers. Okay, thank you, bro.
I want to say thank you very much for picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
I appreciate you, bro. And the poll was saying 87% of the family members are on with you on that. And I asked that for the poll. Should the Saints bring in Aaron Rodgers to start for 2025, yay or nay? 87% of the Who Dat Nation says hell no. And 13% says yes. So that poll is just a complete blowaway. Sean, thank you, bro. Chantel says, Q, Saints need to look at maybe getting Brock Purdy. 49ers want to trade him. Are they trying to trade Brock Purdy? I thought they was trying to, they got rid of all those people in the attempt to kind of sign him. Now they're trying to get from up under him. Is that what's going on with the 49ers? Is that what's going on, Chantel? Because I remember they got a lot of the 49ers people they were getting rid of, and some reports was indicating that they were kind of pivoting so they could sign Brock Purdy, because Brock Purdy was the guy, So that to me is very interesting. I ain't been on my 49ers stuff like that. I've been entrenched with the Saints, but that's, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to look into it. Well, they say they right, I'm just doing a little brief research on it. They say they're still working on this agreement. But, at some point you think they'll end up getting that done. I don't know. That's strange right there. They were doing all this stuff. All right, Quavo says, Mickey Q. Mickey Q. How do you really feel about being hoodwinked by Derek Carr? Hold on now. Well, number one, hold on there, 504 Co. Thank you for the question. Hold on. All I can say is Derek Carr is a great quarterback. When he didn't hoodwink me. I basically, what we did was, we gave Derek Carr's money. He got a family, and hold on now, he's a good guy. He's this generation's Joe Montana. And listen, let me tell you something. Hold on now. Derek Carr is a good guy. He's a great quarterback, and we have to take care of Carr's family, and that's what we did. You got to take care of your friends. I took care of Sean Payton. I got an extra draft pick. And I sent players to him, and we cut the kicker, and then so that he can have him over there. Yeah, all right. He needed a kicker, and I told Dennis Allen, put that goddamn guy in the street. Sean needs a kicker, so we cut the kicker and sent him to Sean, and we help out when we can. You gotta help our friends, because that's what good friends do. You gotta help out guys. Okay. All right, thank you for the question. All right, see, Mickey got a big heart and a big mouth for us. That's all it is. You got to help out your friends. All right, Dr. Gray says Purdy wants to get paid if he couldn't win on the star-studded team. How will he do with the Saints? Is he a system quarterback? I mean, he's perfect for what Shanahan does. He has that system down packed. He doesn't have a big arm, but he's accurate with the ball. He's smart. You know, he's been having some issues with his injury stuff, but boy, if Derek Carr can get $150 million for winning 14 and 13 with the Saints in 2 years, then why not give Brock Purdy what he's second $170 million for what he's done? Man, anything is possible when you can give Derek Carr $150+ million for 14 and 13 record over 2 years. Give Kirk Cousins $180 million for whatever he did in Atlanta, and Purdy saying, well, all this stuff I did, I can't get $171. Man, listen. I'm just saying, man, the numbers is staggering. Don't y'all see that? That's right. Hold on now. You guys, goddamn it. That's Joe Montana right there on the screen. Hold on now. All right. Yeah, Mickey Q says it, man. That's about right? You heard what Mickey Q said. Mickey Q said it right. Hold on now. You got to help your friends. You know, y'all forgot about that, him cutting the kicker, Will Lutz. People are like, what? It worked out because Group A is turned into a good young kicker, but people, I was like in my feelings about that, man. You don't give away a good kicker like that. And that guy went there, he kicking the hell out the ball over there in Denver. Hold on, Sean needed that kicker. We had to, hold on now, we had to get him. Listen, and you know, and we had to take care of Sean. Yeah, and he's my friend, you know, and goddamn it. And you know, and that's about the size of it right there. Okay, thank you, Mickey. Appreciate it, man. And Mickey, no, ain't nothing gonna happen. Hey, Mickey Q, is Gail gonna do anything to you? Hell no. Hold on now. I got her. Listen here, let me tell you something. I don't want to sound like a player or anything, you know, but hold on. Listen, I got this, baby. Hold on, you know, I'm not gonna pop my collar. Well, let me tell you something, baby. I got this. Oh yeah, he got it. All right, Mickey Loomis, he definitely got it. He got it. I'm just going. That sounds about right. Yeah, that's about it. All right, man. Linda, what's up? Linda says 26 players on the Saints are the worst player in the NFL. Mostly on defense. Released 26 players. It's dragging down the team. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right, appreciate you on that. All right, 546Q. He got the family generation Joe Montana. Oh yeah, he's Joe Montana. Oh yeah. That's what he would say, man. Crazy, man. That guy's out of his mind. St. Doug says, Q, you won't have to do the car impression. Oh, no more car impressions, bro. That just pissed people off now. It's just amazing, man. It's amazing. Q said, my mom had been working on Oshner Health in Shreveport, Louisiana for 25 years. She says it's a difference between LSU Hospital and Oshner Health. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, and listen, man, my mother worked for years for Oshner Hospital in New Orleans. Now, the sports medicine side of it is what we aim at, you know, in terms of, because they got some good stuff, and many people rely on Oshner Hospital for their health care and stuff like that. But it's the sports medicine side that's attached to the Saints and Pelicans that they have to reevaluate, which is suspect because of Dennis Lausch's connection to Oshner Hospital. He's on the board of directors. How's that work? So even if you pinpointed the fact that the healthcare issue that the teams, the professional teams, both the Pelicans and Saints are having, because they both complain about injuries. Mickey Loomis, y'all heard it, complain about injuries for the last several years. You heard Griffin when he complained about him. You heard Willie Green blame him. And I'm saying they just read up with the Oshner sports medicine side, the sports medicine side recently. They signed a new agreement with them, which that's not fixing nothing. Because your players are repetitively hurt at a level where it's stopping your team from winning games. If that is what you believe, then you got to know that's the truth. You got to know that, hey, man, this is a bad arrangement. Then this is subpar service. Then what we need to do something else. I'm saying the Saints, why even partner with a health system at all? The Saints have more than enough money to build their own medical staff, littered and loaded with some of the best doctors you can find in the country. They have access to tens of millions to billions of dollars. They have all of the resources. They can do it all in-house. They can do it all in-house. They don't have to pivot and do this stuff. You know, I'm just being honest with you. If you want to fix it, there's ways you can fix it, fam. Spend some money on it. That's the only way you're going to fix it. Complaining about it don't do nothing. Because aren't you tired of hearing it, though? I mean, they're blaming it so much so that I'm like, man, they're blaming the injury monster so much so it's got me looking at it and saying, hold on. We know injuries is a part of professional sports, but how do you explain other teams that are still winning despite injuries? It's not luck. Luck has nothing to do with it. You got to have the right trainers, the right people in place. And there's different regiments, there's different ways, different methods, because everything is, not everything is equal. Not everybody's medical staff is equal based on what we're seeing. But I know if you're the Pelicans, how are the Boston Celtics people able to play together to the point where they win in championships? Or OKC or Miami or anybody else that's competing? How are they able to compete year after year, and year after year you sit up here talking about, well, injuries wouldn't have stopped the team down here, Q. We would have been good. Come on. Once every now and again injuries, we might be cool with that, but not every year. For like 5 years and 6 years in a row, the Pelicans blaming injuries for everything. Saints got up here and blamed injuries last year. And like I said, that's disingenuous because it's not entirely all injuries. It's bad coaching. They never say, you'll never hear them guys get up there, obviously, and say, you know what? To be honest with the supporters who we get our money from, the reason why we just didn't do what we didn't study hard enough. We didn't totally 100% commit to what we was about. Well, I don't know what we was thinking about, but we didn't have championship in mind. We wasn't organized enough as a team. Our head coach was a guy who didn't have any accountability. He was too lackadaisical, too disorganized. He chose favorites. He fractured his team. We didn't like that. They had people that were actually talking like that. That was Lattimore. They restructured his contract at the time and was trying to trade him and made him out to be the person that was the bad guy in the locker room when he was trying to bring light to the fact that this is not how we win games. Alvin Kamara talked about it. Mickey Loomis didn't want to pay him his money and made him wait. They gave your boy, the linebacker, his money before they gave it to Alvin. Well, how disrespectful. But that's how they do it. That's a dumbass, non-accountable idiot that don't know how to run the team. You should supposed to know when the team is sliding off of the cliff into the volcano. We don't need to hear from DeMario Davis coming up here talking about have faith and then the team walking off into the cliff of the volcano. But we know we can't get him to keep it real. He ain't gonna come out and tell the truth about the team, not as long as you're paying him. And that's just how they are. They're agents for the team. A lot of these guys are agents for the team. They company men. Regardless of what the image they uphold, these people are company men. They won't tell you the truth because they're getting paid by the machine, and they won't dare tell you the truth and jeopardize their little bread to tell you the truth. So, I see it as such. So, it's what L-Dub says. Even Cam Jordan was up there last week talking about, that's what he does. That's what he does. You don't even have to talk about that no more. Well, last year we going to win it this year, but that's, the injuries. And then he'll turn around next year if they fail and talk about injuries stalling out the team. Miss me with that. Cam Jordan needs to just take his ass on and just go talk on NFL.com or wherever else. Just go somewhere. Just go. You're not getting any sacks anyway. And at this point, you're just a high-paid cheerleader. Let's keep it real. You're not getting no sacks, man. We don't need you sitting up here advocating for injuries and all that, all this F stuff, man. Get out of here with that. Well, it was the injury, so it wasn't bad preparation on your end, Cam, and your teammates. I remember them backups, Cam. I remember them backups. Them guys did not know that playbook. Them guys wasn't handling their business in practice. They got into them games. They ain't even know who the hell they were blocking. I seen those games, Cam, when the defensive line for the opposite team would shift. They had the Saints snap count down to a science. And when they knew when the ball was about to be snapped, they slid They slid just to create confusion with the Saints offensive line because they knew that them guys wasn't communicating and that one or two of them on that line would slip through and knock that quarterback down or run him out of there and force him to run. I was calling it in the games, Cam. That happens because them guys are not communicating on who they got. Guys didn't know how to block and then shed off a block to go to the second level to go get that linebacker so that running back can get there. I seen that, bro. You gonna talk about all those drop passes that they have? How about those drop passes that they had, the easy ones, just dropping the ball? Huh? What about that? How about the missed tackles, being out of position, not knowing how to set an edge properly? How about that? Huh? How about the preparation every damn... See, don't talk to me because that's what I do, man. That's some bull crap, man. Cam Jordan need to go head on, man. Just go, bro. Just go to the NFL Network because I doubt you get 2 sacks next year. All that money for 2 damn sacks. You already got the sack record, bro. Just go talk about it on the NFL, bro, because that's what you want to do anyway. Just go talk about it. You can't tell diehards who know football bull crap like injury stopped the team and don't talk about how you're going to solve it. This is a systemic issue that's above you. You need to be going to the team and telling them, hey, man, we need better doctors, as opposed to come out here trying to spin interference for them. That's not a respectable thing to do, man. You people think y'all fools, man. They think we stupid, man. That's insulting, man. Don't y'all feel insulted by that? They've been saying that for years. It was like, what are you telling me for that? Go tell them and let them fix it. Go tell them. Tell them to fix the injury. That's money. All it is money. It's money. You hire the best doctors. You get the best technology. You go find the people. They're out there. Go hire them and bring them there and start the regimen. Go start. But you don't hear nothing about them signing no new doctors or bringing in any new technology or changing anything up from a health perspective. That's why I do not respect that. I don't want to hear that. I don't hear that Cam Jordan talking all that craziness about injuries. He did that during the Super Bowl. Well, you got this guy went down and this guy went down and that guy went down. Hell, that'd be hard for anybody to win. With this guy going out, well, I'm like, oh, goddamn. So Dennis Allen got fired because injuries stalled out the team. Is that what you're saying? If Dennis Allen was there, was the Saints going to win? Man, get out of here, man. Dennis Allen was backstabbing his own players. We knew that. He threw his team under the bus. We even have, at least James Hurst kept it real and told the truth about that. James Hurst said he thought he was going to be fired after that. Mickey Loomis came in there and chastised the players. That's how stupid Mickey Loomis is, and still end up getting the man fired. That's why people don't respect Mickey Loomis. Them players don't care about no Mickey Loomis, man. And then when Dennis Allen gets fired, what Mickey Loomis comes out and does? He talked about a report that was written by one of the writers that talked about how tight it is in the Saints facility in the parking spots. Well, that's just ridiculous. Guys leaving because they can't park their cars. So you passed over, in order to get to that section, he had to pass over all the other stuff that they wrote about the disciplinarian problems, the issues, people not trusting Dennis Allen, him backstabbing people. He passed up all of that and talked about parking space, which I've been there more than I can count, and I'm telling you that's the truth. It's tight in there because they got Saints people in there and they got Pelicans people. The Saints building is in the front. They just built the cafeteria, and when you come through there, you look straight at it. They got the building there. Behind that is the cafeteria they just built, and then behind that is the Pelicans building. And it is tight in there. You go around there, it is tight. You got people, trainers, and they got about 100 people that work in there that don't play no. They just work in the building. They work in the media department, all this kind of stuff. It is tight in there. People who've been there, I've been there more times than I can count, and I'm telling you, it's tight in there. It is difficult to park in there. It's a tight space because they're trying to fit all this stuff in together. You got the Saints and Pelican people in there at the same time. It is tight in there. Yeah, I went up in there. I remember seeing Jose Alvarado. He was parked. He had to move his goddamn car out the way to let a delivery man through. I'm like, damn, is that how this works? Bro, man, miss me with that, man. He might be not tight to him because he could just pull his ass up in the front right there and walk up in there, but he don't care about the rest of them. Man, you can't tell me nothing about these people, man. I know all about these people, man. Come on, bro. Talk to somebody that don't have no sense, man. Go play with somebody else, man. All right, let me say this and then I'm get ready to go. Mine says Cam Jordan, DeMario wasn't even a part of the Super Bowl team. We ain't trying to hear nothing they talking about. Vilmacher respect. Yeah, DeMario Davis is the spiritual leader. I still would like to hear DeMario's take about what happened with this Catholic Church thing. He quiet as a church mouse on that. What's your take on that, DeMario? You wanna kind of lend the ear to that? The spiritual leader of the team. What about that? What happened to that Catholic Church? Do you think Greg Bensel should be fired for his role in it? How about that? You want to answer that? Come on, man. Miss me with all that. This Hollywood stuff, man. Get down to the meat and potatoes, man. The spiritual leader of the team. What do you think about that, DeMario? Oh, shit, I ain't got nothing to do with me. Yeah, keep collecting checks, brother. Keep collecting checks. Mr. Mina says, I wish they would all put knees to Breeze. Go. Viber says LSU College is one of the best sports medicine in the state, and the Saints and Perils don't even take advantage of it. They getting money, baby. My dog says Alvarado had to move his little Steve Urkel car. He did. He had to move it. He was talking to some dude, and he was sitting in the car. He running his mouth. I seen the guy because I just had pulled up. They had a guy in a bread truck or whatever it was. I forgot what it was. And he was trying to pull around because they were building up at the time in there. They were doing renovate. They was doing something with finishing off the cafeteria. They were doing landscaping, and the guy had pulled in there, and Jose was pulled out talking to the guy. He had to pull the car out the way so the guy can get by. He had to do that, and I'm like, man, it's crazy, but it's not. It's very tight in there. They're not lying about that. It's very tight in there. You know, they try to. It's just. I was like, man, it's crazy. And then the really weird part about the energies is weird in there. It's a weird energy. I don't like the energy that's in there either. It was a weird kind of, I don't know. It was a weird energy. It wasn't no godly energy in there that I was like, man, this ain't somewhere I want to be. You know what I'm saying? You got like when you're around good people, it's a good energy, something like that. It was some weird, ungodly energy in there. I don't know. It was just them. It was just, I don't know. I ain't like it. I ain't like it at all. It was kind of weird. I don't know. But anyway, listen, fam. Listen, y'all finish. The poll question is on me in that poll right here because that poll got murked. And that was, should the Saints bring in Aaron Rodgers? 87% of the people said hell no. I like to thank all the people for their vote. There were 200 people voted in the poll. 87% of the family said no. 12% says yes to Aaron Rodgers. At the end of the day, man, we have a week remaining before we get to the draft that's coming up next week, fam. We got some stuff going on. The last mock draft of the season for me, I'm doing tomorrow on our Patreon special. And like I said, man, it has gotten to the point now where Shedeur Sanders is obviously going to be the guy to say. Now, whether they get him a fam, I have absolutely no idea. I know they're going to try to see if they can do what they got to do to kind of run up there and put that card in and get him. I don't know. We'll see how it all flows because something tell me something going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be that easy. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, man. I got one more for y'all before we get ready to go. Shout out to Kyle T. Mosley. Adam Schefter reveals what he would do if he ran the Saints. This is one that came across my desk not too long. The Saints might not end up drafting the QB after all. This is what Adam Schefter said he would do, how he would run the team. New Orleans Saints were recently dealt a tough pill to swallow. Derek Carr has a shoulder injury, and his 25 season is reportedly in question. New Orleans will need to find a quarterback, a new one, whether in the draft or in free agency. The top quarterback the Saints have been linked to is Colorado signal caller Shedeur Sanders at pick number 9 in the draft. Insider Adam Schefter recently took a different stance on what he would do instead of drafting Sanders at pick number 9. This was what Schefter said. Schefter said he would wait and try to entice Texas quarterback Arch Manning, okay, to come to the draft for the Saints to select. Now, that's just y'all let me know how y'all feel about it. But he says, quote, I even had one football executive say that the best thing the Saints can do right now, and they would disagree with this, New Orleans, it was just a suggestion from another team, but the best thing they can do is this tank this year and see if they can entice Arch Manning to come out after next year to come back in and play quarterback for New Orleans. Schefter said. Now, we're getting way ahead of ourselves, but it's fun to speculate this time of the year where we're going over scenarios like this. The decision completely revolves around whether or not the Saints are in love with Sanders as a prospect. Schefter's idea of passing on Sanders makes a lot of sense if New Orleans isn't in love with him. Manning hasn't shown much at the college level just yet, but he looks to be a top of the first round, top of the round first round prospect. Even then, passing on Sanders would be a huge risk because the Saints can't guarantee having first overall pick next year. That's the point, right? Now, New Orleans is in a very tough spot if they need to draft a quarterback at some point this offseason, whether it's Sanders at the top of the first round or a lottery ticket prospect in the 6th or 7th round, right? So let me ask you guys this. What do you think about this? Because somebody mentioned it to me before about Arch Manning. And this is, it's very interesting. It would be a dream scenario to end up getting Arch Manning, but the Saints would have to stink for this whole year to get him. And I don't think it will work because two things have to happen. The Saints have to be really bad to get him to line up in the draft to be eligible to get him, and he would have to come out next year to be lined up. The point is, I don't think Arch Manning comes out next year. I don't think he comes out until he's after his senior season. I like I said, I just think that a lot of stuff that we see with guys like Arch Manning, like the Mannings period, they like to do their full four. Like a guy would come out because of money or something like that. Like I said, they got money. Matter of fact, he got a nice NIL deal that he just recently signed. Let me see, what's Arch? What's his NIL deal? He just signed a nice NIL deal. So let me see. Yeah, 6 days ago, he signed an NIL deal. What is it worth? Let me see. What is it worth? Do they tell you? Yeah, he just signed an NIL deal. They're not telling you how much it is, but I know it ain't for no cheap money. But he just recently signed one. Yeah, let me put it on screen for you guys to see. Yeah, he just recently signed an NIL deal. So, I mean, like, this is his first year at the helm for, like, as his full-time starter because Quinn Ewers kept him on the bench. That's how good Quinn was playing in Texas. Kept Arch Manning because they was trying to get him out there. But Quinn was playing really well, kept him on the bench. So, I don't think he leaves until after he's a senior because that's the mold of the Mannings. I don't think he is going to go anywhere until, he does his, after his senior season. I don't think he comes out early. I would be surprised if he does, but that's based on how the Mannings operate. I think that he stays in. He comes out after he's a senior, kind of built his legacy a little bit. I don't think he's a one and done deal. I think he'll probably be there. And like I said, man, I wouldn't it'll be a dream scenario if it lined up with the Saints like that. But me personally, I don't think that you want to do that. If you got Shedeur Sanders, and Shedeur Sanders is a good quarterback, he can help you win games. Get into the rebuild this year. It is what it is on Arch. Just get into it, a deal, get Shedeur. He's a good quarterback. You can build, or whoever you got, build up, and let's take it forward. Not waiting on Arch Manning because I don't think he comes out next year. And I don't think the Saints going to be worse enough to get a first-round pick if he happens to be there. So I would have to say no to that. But what you guys think about that as well? I don't know, man. All right. Let's see. Protect says, Brother Gregory said, I got you, bro. Hold on, bro. I got you. All right, Aaron, hold on. I got you. Wyo says Aaron Rodgers arrived. I'm a Steeler. Okay, all right.
I want to say thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
Yeah, so you switching sides, Wyo? Is that's what's going on, bro? You gonna take the black and gold off and put the black and yellow? Because that's what it is. It's black and yellow. Like your boy, you had the song Black and Yellow back. You gonna take the black and gold off to put black and yellow on, brother? Damn. And Brother Gregory says, yes, bring in Aaron Rodgers and draft Sanders. All right.
I want to say thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
All right, we got to put Dick Gregory up.
Stop, y'all keep talking. Huh? You keep talking, man. And you shut the up.
Oh, man, Dick Gregory, man. Shout out to Dick Gregory, man. All right, appreciate you, Brother Brent, for that, man. Much love to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all on the Super Chat tip. Much love to the fam. All right, so on the Arch Manning thing, man, let me give y'all some chance to respond in that, man. All right, Backwoods says draft Sanders at 9. He'll be there. All right, yeah. All right, Sean says, no, we got to watch for them trading back with another team who wants QB to keep him away from us. Okay, all right, good response. Shazam says, tell the Saints to sign Arch to an NIL deal. Okay, that's one way to get him attached to you. Steve says, how can anyone put Manning over Will Howard? Ridiculous. Bro, it's the pedigree. That's how they do it, Steve. You know, Will Howard from Ohio State won a championship this past year. And he had a solid season. Like I said, man, there's like 7 really good quarterbacks who are seen as prospect quarterbacks who had phenomenal numbers. Like you talk about guys like Shue from Louisville, had solid numbers, great numbers. Will Howard had solid numbers. Gabriel from Oregon had solid, but he played, the thing about Dylan Gabriel, he was there for he was in college ball like 5 or 6 years. I think he had like 5 or 6. He did like a Bo Nix thing. And I was like, damn, that's why that little guy is so good. You know, he make all the plays. It'll be interesting to see where he goes because he's like 5'9" or something like that. Very small quarterback. Where does he go in the draft? That'll be interesting to see what happens with him because he has fantastic numbers passing the ball behind big offensive linemen. Accurate, you know, have a nice touch on the ball, you know, that kind of stuff. But they had a lot of really good quarterbacks that are seen as developmental quarterbacks. Some guys have ribbon. We talk about McCord, who led college in passing yards this year and several other stats. But at the end of the day, you know, it's just who do you like, you know, in terms of the NFL scout. Not every scout is created equal. Not every team views these guys the same. Somebody might have a guy like Shue at higher than most teams have them. You know, some people see Jackson Dart as a first-round quarterback. Believe it or not, they have some people that see him as that. Some people see Will Howard a lot higher than what he actually, you know, than what some people see him. So, I mean, it depends on who's drafting. But they got a quarterback for you, depending on who you are. They got quarterbacks, period. What's up, John? Shout out to you, man. Good to see you in the chat, man. Yeah, we'll see. Vibin says, yes, to take advantage of opportunity, Spencer. Yeah, Spencer's going to do that. No doubt about that. No doubt about that, man. He's going to definitely do that. All right, yeah. Huh? That's right. Huh? That old Dick Gregory, man. Talk. That old Dick Gregory. Rich says, Q, give Rattler a real shot with a real coach. He going to get his shot, bro. I'm telling you, we not the emphasis is on Shador, obviously, because he's a celebrity style quarterback. His father's a Hall of Famer. He done some stuff there in college. He got a flashy name to him. So Spencer's kind of in the cut, and while all this is going on, he's working behind the scenes. Y'all seen the reports of Spencer Rattler at working out and in the facility. What else is he gonna do? Right? Sit around playing video games all day. If he has a playbook, if Moore has a playbook or whatever he needs to, he's probably the first one that got it. He's the first one in the building, probably the last guy to leave. What else is he going to do? Like I said about last year, like if you're a backup or a player, period, and you get paid to play football, man, that's what you should be about. You should be studying that playbook. You should be working on your stance. You should be working on your technique. You should be lifting weights. You should be having your routine, your regimen, your eating habits together. You should be, if you're getting paid to be a professional athlete, you should be at your best. If you're a backup, you're getting paid to do something, to play a child's game handsomely. They got people that got jobs, real jobs, that got to go do this type of stuff and all this. And if you're getting paid to play a child's game, you should be all about yours. That's why, like, I don't have no patience for bad backups, because you have more time to prepare than anybody. What a backup doing when the starter's out there sitting on his ass waiting? A lot of times you got to be ready to go. And these guys we seen last year, these guys wasn't ready to play no football. That Ali Udo dude was garbage. That Cedric Wilson Jr. to me shouldn't even be here, because he was signed on to actually be a compliment. People forget who he was when they signed him, but he was supposed to kind of replace Michael Thomas and be the big physical receiver opposite of Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. People forget that when they brought him in here. If he was so bad, he fell all the way down. You start seeing these other guys go. When I realized the fit is bad, and how fast things move, and you got a losing culture, we got to speed this up. We got to get players out that don't fit and bring ones that do. I mean, I'm sorry, we got a team that's failing. We got to fix the failure. We got to plug the holes in the boat. All right, thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
I want to say thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
Exactly. Spencer's working out. Told a Glock boy. He's definitely working in the facility. So we'll see what they got, man. Whoever you draft or whoever you put in there, Spencer Rattler will have to compete with him. And if he's on his game, he'll get a shot. So, I mean, like I said, people know who Spencer is, and Spencer's taking it serious. He's there working, getting ready, learning the book. If there's a playbook, I'm pretty sure he got it. Working on his technique, working on getting the ball out faster, working on his accuracy, doing all the stuff that you need to do to get ready for year 2, to be as best as you can be prepared for when camp starts and all this kind of stuff. Because he'll have a shot. This is his shot, and I'm pretty sure he recognizes it, his shot. He won't squander it. He'll be there competing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Bub Means is going to push Cedric Wilson out the door. That's making Loomis restructuring these people. I like I said, fam, I just don't have patience for it. You got a losing team and guys here is a reason. You got a bum-ass coach brought some of these guys in here. They don't fit with what you're trying to do. So the next guy coming in, he got to bring his own guys in with the right temperament, the right attitude to be able to turn this around. That's all I'm saying. Some of these guys don't fit with what we're trying to do. Ali Udo and all these guys, they don't fit with what we got going on. They don't. These guys just said, what's that other guy? Shane Lemieux, whatever his name is, he got to go. All these other guys like that couldn't block, that didn't know their assignments, didn't know their playbooks, them guys, y'all got to go, man. We don't have time for that here. We trying to win something, man. Time is of the essence. We trying to win. All right, so anyway, man, let me get out of here, man. Listen, I appreciate y'all for being on the live. Do me a service, man. Please do me a service. Hit the like button. If you haven't already touched upon it, hit the like button. Also, feel free to sub up if you're not a sub. Also, please do me a service and share the link. If you haven't had the opportunity, wherever you socialize, it don't matter, Facebook, Instagram. Shout out to my people on the gram listening. I see you, Mad Drummer, and all ways, dumb, all wisdom. Shout out to y'all and the rest of y'all in X and all the places. Much love to y'all. Y'all hit the like button. Also, feel free to share the links on wherever you socialize. It helps out the platform. And check out Mint Mobile. Links are in the description section below. You want a deal on your cell phone, trying to save some money, check out Mint Mobile. They got a discount there, sale going on. Teach Henley for the brothers. Want to get their skin game tight so they can, look right. That's available. Also a discount there, and Bet Online. Those help support the stream, man, and keep us doing what we're doing out here and keeping it real and telling the truth. So y'all, listen, I'm going to be back tomorrow on our Patreon special, man. I appreciate y'all for popping in. Shout out to us Patreon and YouTube membership family. I'll be back. That'll be the last mock tomorrow. Laying it down. We also have another positional breakdown as well. The last one of the series, and we just keep it pushing. So with that being said, I'm going to holler at y'all on the flip side. Much love, and who that to your peace.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. 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 Yeah, boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees on Rodgers Goodell. Yeah, running like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Bet-Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, Bet-Online is your ultimate game day companion with the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA and college basketball to NHL and UFC. Bet-Online continues to be your number one sports betting source for every three-pointer to hat trick. Bet-Online has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. Bet-Online, the game starts here.
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. Remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and Who That too.